Dual set.
Heart to heart.
Noonas podcast. Welcome back to the Noonas podcast. As always,
Hey.
I'm your host, Jenny, and my co-host, Jenny.
Hey there. What's going on?
Not a lot. I feel like there's always been a lot going on, but finally feel like we've had a slower week in K-pop in terms of like news.
Thank goodness.
A slower week, but
but we've been like out of like the exhausting phase, and then we just like really spent out. It was like, well, what now? You know, but.
Yeah, out of all the comebacks that you had, because you had a lot of exciting comebacks in the beginning of March, and especially, from some of our favorite groups, and just getting ready, because, April's right around the corner. We already had announcements of a couple big groups coming back with announcements this week in terms of comebacks for next month. So one I just found out today that Hyphen's coming back with their second album. So I'm looking forward to see what their first comeback's actually going to be like as a rookie group. As well as Kingdom is finally going to be airing for their first episode next week, which I'll say
on April Fools. On April Fools at our time.
Yes.
So the time is going to be any more perfect for a lot of fans, out there. We're looking forward to like Mnet, seeing if they could ace or nail the show and not have any troubles like they've done before.
Oh my God. Like I said, I've been hyped since they announced the teaser of the first two groups coming since Mama 2020. But since then, it's just been a cavalcade of just drama with the show in terms of, I guess, scandal. I don't know if scandal is the right word, but we've had some scandals. We've had some members not having to leave with some of the groups. We had the whole Hunjin situation with Stray Kids, who's not going to be obviously competing on the show. He's currently on his indefinite hiatus from Stray Kids, which we haven't heard if when he's coming back. I'm assuming he's coming back. I hope he's coming back. But as well as there's been some other members who are out in other groups who are not going to be competing. I know I heard Rowoon for SF9 is going to be in and out throughout the show because he's currently filming a drama that's interfering with the filming of the show, which is apparently going to interfere with some of his stuff for the SF9. Which I find interesting considering I know, like I said, with some of the members of ATEEZ as well as another member of SF9 being part of the drama imitation filming as well right now too, but they're still competing. So I'm not 100% sure what's all going on with that. So, and now to add on top of that, we have now another scandal, or I guess another person who's going to be leaving the show.
Departing, and not like being active on any other like activities on the show whatsoever.
Pretty much. So, did we talk about the whole Nuno situation ever on the show? I can't remember if we did.
We haven't. Okay. That's why I was like wondering, like, okay, like what was like the thing that caused him to like leave the show? Is it due to like him like not following the social distancing rules? Like what?
I think because it's relating to that as well as some of the news that came out post that, because apparently it sounded like it was some kind of adult entertainment establishment. So basically, let's start this all over. So we're going to get into this news, and then we're going to get into our Wikipedia session for this week as you're gearing up for Kingdom. We're going to get into our second group this week, which is BtoB. Which we are looking forward to talking about from going from our most rookie group, ATEEZ, 2 weeks ago, to our most senior group competing in the show BtoB this week. So, but before that, we're going to get into this news. And so, so the whole situation is basically stemming from him breaking COVID protocol rules in Korea. So, and this is back in February, I guess he broke these rules. So currently in Korea, obviously with COVID still being an issue, there's a whole countrywide, or I don't know if it's countrywide or if it's just in Seoul, where restaurants can only be opened until 10 p.m. or I don't know if it's restaurants or just establishments, can only be open until 10 p.m. to just for safety. And so it was found that he had broken protocol because he was out late drinking with some friends of his. And it was like midnight that he was out found drinking, and he had made a statement saying he was sorry, and that, we had thought, okay, that was it. Well, some investigative, I guess.
Or some investigators, and they investigated some further investigations upon.
Yeah, I mean, it was some of the news channels in Korea, some, because it's celebrity, because people have to investigate because it's a hot topic. So some channels, I think NBC, and I think one other channel investigated too. I don't know if it was JTBC or one other channel, looked into what was going on, and they saw that, they looked into it and they said, it was more of an adult entertainment establishment that he was at, because apparently the building was had blacked out windows, and it was just kind of it was more of the seedier parts of Gangnam. And supposedly his friends were holding back the cops, so he made a run for it. Well, he said that no, we weren't running he wasn't running from the cops or anything like that. And his friends said no, once because apparently the police came as plain clothes, and said once the cops identified themselves as police, they'd let them into the establishment. But so there's a lot of back and forth going on between this investigation of what exactly happened. But we do know he did break COVID protocol in terms of he was out late drinking. So,
right.
Yeah, it's not a good look. But because of the fact that, there's still all this ongoing controversy, ongoing kind of drama going on and kind of hanging above his head, it was announced earlier this week that Mnet and SM, in a kind of a joint statement, I think both released a statement saying, voluntarily intended to not participate in recordings, awaiting the police investigation results of what's happening currently with this whole COVID, protocol breaking investigation. So as a result, the only MC of the show is going to be his fellow TVXQ member, Changmin. And
he's going to be all by himself, all alone.
All alone. And because they've already started filming the show, and they, I think, have a couple episodes under their belts, we're gonna see some very creative editing, I think.
Creative or more damage control editing.
Not to say we are going to see some creative editing, because we are going to have to see them edit Hunjin out of episode 1 of the show, because they've already told us that they're going to edit him out of the episode because he was, like I said, put on hiatus for the whole bullying thing, and we know this has been a whole thing.
Yeah, but as time went by, because that's what I was wondering, because it felt like a long time, and then I think that the investigations against Hyunjin is just cleared things out. That was no, it's not. It wasn't that serious. He didn't it wasn't a serious bullying where he targeted someone. It was just some kind of petty school fights. So it's not it's kind of weird how people will still have or some fans will still have some kind of grudge and saying no, I don't want to see him in Kingdom. So, and I thought people would have been over it by now. I'm just just kind of curious to see why did they have to change so much significantly.
And I think it's more Korean fans, because the Korean fans are the ones who are more up in arms about the whole bullying stuff than the international fans, because I know the international fans are a little bit more relaxed about it. I mean, I don't want to say relaxed, but not as up in arms, I guess, about it. Because I mean, okay, yeah, I guess it was fun. He was kind of being stupid. I mean, again, kids are stupid, and
yeah, it's just kids, school stuff.
Yeah, so
many of us would be involved in, or a lot of us, but
Yeah, I think plenty of us have done stupid shit when we were younger. So, and I still feel kind of horrible for all the stress that he's going under. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how this mess is going to be edited in episode 1. So, which we'll find out next week. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting editing job. I mean, we've seen Mnet do some very creative editing before with some drama, like on Produce 101 with some idols who've had to get edited out for other reasons before. So they've done it to make it look kind of okay, like some kind of creative editing. So I guess we'll wait and see. But I mean, again, I'm still looking forward to seeing more. My biggest thing is I'm looking forward to the performances, especially after seeing the whole performance film that they released last week, which
I did not try to, watch it all over again.
Sure.
Anyways.
Anyway, I know we put up Ginny put up a poll up on YouTube and on Twitter, vote for people to vote for their best, or who they thought was the best performance out of the 6 representative members. And I think it was kind of split 3 ways between, because I think it was Taeyong from SF9, Leo from Stray Kids, and San from ATEEZ, I think. I feel like people's choices.
Yeah, I love how there's a really close calls between members, and some of the numbers that we actually agree with. So yeah, and that's it's a pretty cool experiment I did there, and hopefully we'll be able to do more, maybe especially if Kingdom is about to start soon.
Yeah,
we can get more engagement with fans and saying okay, who's the best performance there.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool. I mean, the cool thing about Kingdom is they do put the performances online on YouTube, because it does actually become a part of the voting for the show. So all the performances we will be able to see. So you guys will be able to watch them. And I think it'll be great if you guys want to watch it. And I think it'd be fun to vote. And to kind of see what I think our audience really does like and prefers versus what I think you and me are going to prefer, especially because I feel like we're going to have some inherent bias, although I'm trying not to. But
I mean, I caught the attention of from SF9 because I wasn't so familiar with a lot of their stuff, and yeah, Taeyong, it was that was a really cool first impression for me. I better go research on this person right now. Now I'm gonna get bias wrecked by the group whatsoever.
I know, I was the same here too. I was like, wait, this is SF9. This is their main dancer. Okay. I'm gonna because his lines, I just watched it yesterday. I'm still impressed with his lines and his just elegance. Wow. Also, still the fact that San is still not the main dancer at ATEEZ. That's Yoonho, and they still put San out there on the floor. Because just San with his just facial features, because just charisma on the dance floor.
Yeah, possessed looking expressions.
So this is why they always put San out there. And then he isn't even the main dancer of the group. But anyway, let's, I guess, get into our main topic of the week. I feel like we're gonna have a shorter episode finally for once this week, because we have no music to review this week. I know IU just did drop her album the day we're recording this episode, which we usually record on Thursdays. She did just drop her album today. Because she did just drop her album today, we just feel like it's not fair for us to review it on just a short turnaround. So we're going to push her review to next week, just to give us some fair amount of time to digest the album and give us a fair criticism or a fair review of the album. So we'll save that to next week, as well as our other album reviews, because we'll have another album review as well as a single review next week, I think, too. So we'll have a couple of music reviews next week, as well as another Rookiepedia session. Because next week will be Icon. Which will be this will be fun turnaround between this week with BtoB and next week with Icon, because we're gonna go from, I think, some ballad kings to hip hop kings next week. But let's get into this week's Rookiepedia, and I think we should just dive right into
I'm ready when you are, Jenny. Let's get into BtoB.
Let's get into BtoB, shall we? So, yeah, BtoB is. So I will say this. I'll preface this. I was not as familiar with BtoB as I am with some other groups.
Yeah,
before
same
this.
here. Yeah, and same here. And please don't cancel me on this. So I will just try to put this in the most appropriate terms when making like research. Yeah, this is like a really different experience for me. That trying to look into groups that I haven't heard before. And I think with BtoB, it's kind of a fascinating thing because their music in particular, it's isn't something. It's not something that I actually listen to often, and I'm not the type of person who listens to like a lot of slower, more sentimental music. So it was kind of hard for me to research on what I like, but I wasn't able to get some help and some suggestions on their other works and some of their more upbeat stuff. So
yeah,
okay, sure, they're really different for me, but I appreciate their, and I'm interested too in how something of their taste or of their choice of music, how they would fit into with the rest of the member or the rest of the groups in Kingdom, because there's more, they need more of the performance persona, which I think they should, it'd be interesting to see them try to go head to head with other groups so far.
Yeah, it's going to be very fascinating. I mean, especially as we get, because we get into it. I mean, so like I said, we said BtoB is the most senior group competing in Kingdom here, debuting in 2012. So they've been around now for, it'll be, actually, they just hit their 9th year anniversary this week. So they've literally been on the scene for 9 years now. And when they debuted back on March 21st, 2012 with their song Insane, which is hilariously, I've heard Insane before because it's actually come up on my playlists quite a bit. And it's which is a very catchy, kind of dancier song of theirs. And they kind of started off as this dancier music, kind of more akin to what we've seen of Generation 3 music, because they are kind of sitting in the heart of Generation 3. Because they debuted around the same time, I guess, as EXO. I'm assuming, right? I think EXO was around the same time.
1 year away from EXO. I think EXO came out in 2011.
Was EXO 2011 or early 2012 too?
Yeah, I believe so. Okay. 2011.
Okay, because I know EXO was around this time. BTS comes out a year later from them too.
Yeah.
So we're here in peak Generation 3. Kind of these more more emotional
electronic
songs.
Sound, electronic sounds.
Yes.
Type of thing, and more of dark and emotional era.
Very, very much so.
There's a lot of dark, not almost gothic, but almost an emo style fashion scene back then. You saw it with EXO, and you saw it with BTS in their debut days.
And you kind of see it in early, and if you watch some of their earlier music videos and stuff too, you kind of see the same styling a little bit. It was a lot of that similar styling.
Really, 40 really tight skinnies and vests and all of that. You could tell okay, that's early 2010s, K-pop Generation
3 fashion. It's very hip hop inspired, but it's still it's very the same across the board for a lot of these groups. But I mean, they started off, I think, pretty strong. I think, like I said, Insane is a pretty good song to start off with. It's it's this dancier, clubbier sound. And
and also just to let you know, BtoB, what that isn't, that's an abbreviation for the name Born to Beat, which is their debut EP. When they first came out. So just let you know.
Yeah, and I guess before we get into the more of the music, I mean, go ahead and backtrack and actually introduce you to the members of the group, because BtoB did originally start out as a 7-member group from Cube Entertainment. Yes, one of our favorite companies, Cube. So BtoB is again comprised of 7 members. Their 7 members are Nguyen, who is the leader of the group and one of the main vocals of the group. Min Hook, who is one of the rappers of the group, both born in the night, are both 90 liners. And then you also have Chang Sub, who's part of the lead vocals of the group. You have then Hun Shik, who's also part of lead vocals. And then you also have, I have to kind of go backtrack here because a couple of them are in the military currently. So I'm trying to do this in age order. So the Chain Sub and then Hun Shik and then Peniel, and who's also one of the other rappers of the group. And then Ilhoon, who also debated with him, who was the other rapper of the group. So they had 3 rappers and 4 vocalists of the group.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then, used to be the main rapper of the group.
Right. And he was the main rapper of the group and also one of the biggest composers of the group too, I think too. He composed quite a bit of the stuff that he further down the line. I mean, I'll get into this, they started composing a lot of their stuff down the line between Eunkwon and Ilhoon. They started writing a lot of their own stuff. Becoming very successful at it too, I think. And then the final member of the group, their mock name of the group, is Sunjae, who's it was also
the vocalist. Face of the face of the group because vocalist, face of the group, and mock name. Because I think when I thought of BtoB before knowing Peniel, I think I got first introduced with Sunjae, and he's the one I recognize most in the group. That's why in K-pop terms, face means like the person or the member you recognize from a group. If you think about BTS, I think people would say, oh, Jimin or V
or Jungkook.
That's what they would think of first. Or Jungkook. either the Maknae line.
The Maknae line of BTS.
Yeah, so just an example.
Yeah, I mean, basically the face is the one your eyes immediately come and go to. Usually are almost kind of because they're different from the center. The center is usually somebody who kind of is I think
usually in the center of every dance performances.
But it would also be very, very interesting too, where I said there really is no. I have also noticed I didn't say anything about dancing or anything in here too. So they've kind of gone away from dancing a lot, I feel in their stuff, because they've gone away from this very dance style when they started their music, and kind of evolved into this very ballady R&B ballad style that's I don't think you really see in terms of mainstream K-pop. You might see it if you look from more indie K-pop artists,
indie or
but they've kind of become a very, very strong ballad group. They all have very strong, all 4 of the vocalists of the group are very strong singers.
Yeah, which is why again I reiterate, it's so interesting too. I'm not quite sure who picked up BtoB to be part of the lineup for Kingdom, since that show is very heavy reliant on performances and dance, precise dance choreography. So it'll be interesting to see how that group would just come back from their roots, go back to the roots and see if they still got it.
Yeah, because I mean they did do dance back in the day. If you go to some of their older music videos, they did have choreography, and they did do choreography on their music shows and stuff. But you don't really see much of it in the later music videos and stuff. They're very more emotionally driven in terms of, and that's a lot of their music. I mean, a lot of their music is very talks a lot about love. It's a very and I mean, because I know you're not really big on the really emotionally driven
the sappy music. No, not that I said so sappy means bad, for BtoB standards, but it's not on my personal taste. I don't listen to a bunch of those. So
but they
don't have me, guys.
But I think they do a really good job and bringing in this emotional level to their music, because maybe that's why it was so hard for me to sit through and stream it all when I was trying to actually listen to their music, because like I had to take breaks when I was listening to their music, because I'm like,
same here, man.
I couldn't handle it all like straight through, because it's like it's just so much emotional power behind their music, especially like some of their slower stuff. It really gets to your heart and gets to your soul, and like you can feel it in their vocals. It's really impressive.
I'm just wondering, because I don't know if you will mention this, but have they done any collaborations or works in K-dramas before? Because I feel like their songs would be so fitting in that type of medium.
They have quite a few songs that they've done that have actually become like they've done quite a few that have actually shown up on K-dramas through on OSTs from like even starting in 2013, like from 2013 up until about the last one they showed up was about 2017, so kind of before they started their whole military service. So it'd be very interesting to see if they kind of pick up on that again after their members complete military service, and they kind of get back to a group. Well, will now be a group of 6, because like we said, unfortunately, one of the members has left the group, and I will get into later why he left the group.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, yeah, their songs have really, like, I think they do kind of evoke this emotional feeling, and they do fit very well into this like OST niche. I mean, they've written quite a bit of stuff, so it'll be interesting. I mean, and they've done a lot of solo stuff too. I mean, besides like all the music that they've released themselves as a group, and they have a long discography. They've released 11 mini albums, as well as 2 complete albums, as well as a few compilation albums. I didn't really get to dig into their Japanese stuff because I had enough to dig into their Korean stuff, as well as didn't get a chance to really dig into their solo stuff, because all of them have really solo projects too.
And subunits too. Like there are 2 subunits from BtoB, which is BtoB for you, and then BtoB Blue. Is that correct?
So BtoB Blue was basically what they was just the vocal line. So it's just the vocal line themselves, which they did. They I think just did one digital single like a couple times. And then BtoB for You is the current subunit, just consisting of the current members who are not serving in the military, which are Eunkwon, Minhook, Changsub, and Peniel, which basically are the members right now, and still probably be the subunit until Hunschik and Sungjae are done in the military. I believe they're going to be done in November. I believe is when their military service will be done, because they went in May of last year. So
I guess that that leads them to 4. Leads them to 4 participating in the Kingdom.
Yep. So that's why we only have the four oldest members of the group competing currently in Kingdom. So you have the old men, unfortunately. Well, not really the old men, but they've been joking. They've been joking about it, and some of the pre-release stuff from Kingdom. They've been joking about how the old men of the competition. It's like
I think they're ready for like the paramedics to come soon.
No, they're like,
if anything happens to us.
I think it was like, I wish I was 30. I wish I was 28 again. It's like you're like 30.
Back in my day.
It's like, dude, that was 2 years ago. Chill.
Back in my day, don't you mean 2 years ago?
Exactly. So it's like, you're gonna be fine. You guys will be fine now.
Yeah. Also, just to watch this information in, their fandom name is called Melody, which it's very fitting, because that name correlates to like the BtoB's full name, which is Born to Beat, and then it would like. It kind of helps correlate and makes them like unified in creating like memorable music, since beat and melody equals making music. So it's a really creative choice of for a name, and also I like their choice of color too. And for BtoB since it's called Slow Blue.
Yeah.
So it's like really like bit of like in the dark light or sky blue, which is I think that's one of the it's a really cool color choice.
Yeah, they have I think it's a really beautiful shade of blue that they've used. And I believe they used that blue on one of their last albums, one of their most recent albums, I believe.
Yeah. That's what I saw or noticed, when I was trying to organize like the albums of our choices. Yeah. And I'm also kind of curious to know about the light stick because it looks like some kind of bell, but they don't have a name to it, or I don't know what like it's supposed to be.
I don't know if they ever named their light stick. I'm like, other groups. I don't think they ever named their light stick. So,
do you know like what it looks like or how it's shaped? Because I don't either. It looks like some kind of flower or some like bell.
Don't. I haven't actually seen their light stick, so I have not seen BtoB's light stick. So unfortunately, but I mean, it's a very fascinating because I feel like their sound. So going back to the music, like I feel like so they started with like this like dancey sound, and they kind of occasionally have had some like dance tracks throughout their discography. Like occasionally they come back and they have some more dancier tracks. I know like with like New Band they had like some dancier sounding stuff. Like Pray I'll Be Your Man, like a little bit later in their discography and stuff. But like a lot of their stuff like transcended after the first couple of albums. Like I started noticing it started changing into like this like very 90s sounding R&B inspired sound.
Yeah, they always have that like even before their during the time they debuted, like they have like this really old school vibe into them. Like their pop sounds like something that would have come from like boy bands from like the late 80s to 90s. Like the thing that I immediately thought of, it was New Kids on the Block.
Yes. Yeah, it was very reminiscent of that sound because it has a lot of those like very early 90s sounds like
teen bopper, like romantic like type of like boy you hear from boy bands.
Yeah, like it kind of has like that throwback feel to it too, but then and it has like that call and response because like Penniel does a lot of like that call and response. Like you hear a lot of that because he always like starts off the song with his English. Because the one thing to note too, Penniel is Korean American. He's from Chicago. He's a Chicago. He is a Chicago born and raised. Chicago born and raised before he moved to Korea. I think he was like 14 when he moved to Korea to train. Before he debuted in BtoB. So. Yeah, he loves the city. He loves the city. He loves repping Chicago whenever he can. So,
oh my gosh, it kind of reminds me, like since Johnny from NCT is also from Chicago, I wonder if they have ever, like spent time together or like have like their own Chicago squad of like members in K-pop.
I feel it's a very small squad in K-pop, but
yeah, your boyfriend could join too.
Sure. He'd love that. But yeah, it's like because Penniel has a lot of that call and response, but you saw a lot, I think, in the 90s and stuff too, and it's kind of like cool to like see that style and see that develop and like see them really embrace that, especially in their especially I think when they started picking up like when Beep Beep really, because Beep Beep was like I think when they really started getting attention. And I think because Beep Beep is I think when they really hit it hard. And Beep Beep is a fun song.
Right, yeah.
Because that's when I think they first kind of started getting attention in Korea, as well as internationally. And when I mean internationally, I feel like they got more international attention like outside of Korea at the point, because this is at the point of like the Hallelujah wave, where Korean media was really getting absorbed outside of Korea, like in Asia. So like,
right,
it was really become a big thing because like K-dramas, K-pop, anything Korean is starting to, K-beauty was getting really reabsorbed. Like you go to like Vietnam and Thailand and the Philippines and Taiwan, and you go to any of these other countries, and like, Korean media was like the thing. And so like they really started to get attention that way. I mean, they were still like getting attention at home too. And like they had, I think, pretty moderate success at home. I mean, they weren't, I think, a standout group. Like they never really, I think, achieved the success like again, like an EXO or BTS. Per se.
Yeah, like they're pretty, like they're not like not throwing the rug, but like they're like the more lesser named or like least recognizable groups when it comes to like especially in the third generation. It's like people would like pinpoint like EXO, BTS, or even like
17
GOT7
or 17. Yeah, they're kind of like this almost like the second level of like successful Gen 3 groups, I would say.
Yeah, B level.
Which is kind of unfair to pin on, but that's kind of they still received a lot of chart success. They like still got music show wins. They were still receiving a lot of success.
And 20 awards from like music award shows too. So pretty good like thing to get like during your 9 years. So it's still an impressive run.
Yeah, I mean they got some big awards like back in like the mid 2010s. They got the best vocal group in 2016 from the Golden Disc Awards. In 2017 they got a top 10 Bongsaeng from the Melon Music Awards. In the Seoul Music Awards in 2018 they got the Ballad Awards. So they've really, like I said, they've established themselves into this like niche that not a lot of K-pop groups have established. Like some groups have obviously had ballad songs, but they've really locked themselves into this ballad genre and really excelled in it. I think because they just the combination of the vocals and the raps that they do, because the raps are very emotional and like the flow of them all like just tied in with the vocals, just they work so well and they just invoke that emotional feeling, and that's why it's just I think it's really beautiful poetry.
Yeah, just the potential that they could they could be able to achieve if if they're able to get back on like really great dance choreography and channel like their emotional like their their music and their songs into like in their dance performance. And now you can create like really evoking and like really awe-inspiring performance that can get like people to like catch attention, like, okay, oh, who are these who are these people?
Yeah.
So yeah, they really have that that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that's why I think it's going to be fascinating to see what they do on Kingdom, especially again because you're competing against groups like the boys, like Stray Kids, like ATEEZ, who are very, very strong performance heavy groups, who again evoke these very strong emotions when they perform. To tie in their really strong vocals to because we saw Minho dance, and I thought danced very well when he did his solo performance. And if they can bring some kind of like some like elegance and grace, because I think that's just kind of like the touch they need. I don't think they need something super strong and aggressive. They just need some kind of like, I don't know, like just some kind of something a little softer, a little bit more elegant. Like
that's something that's more creative and like I guess introspective. And they're like in the theme from this, because I know with if you compare them with ATEEZ, Stray Kids, and even Icon too, like they're more of like the people that will like get you more excited and more hype, right? But with BtoB can be like a really nice contrast, and they can bring you more of like the elegance into their music.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that with the 100-second performance when they performed "Beautiful Pain," which was their last solo or the last song that they released as six, because this is the when Eunkwon was actually the first member to go off into the military, and so it was them as a group of six, and that was their last song that they released as BtoB before we got to where we're at now with BtoB for You. And which it is such a beautiful, heartbreaking song, talking about the heartbreak of, like love, just pain, the pain that just like, it's a beautiful pain. It literally is in the title, Beautiful Pain. And just seeing the four of them perform that, they performed it just standing up, and just the emotional evoking that it had alone was amazing. But if they could add some kind of choreography onto it, I mean, that could be, who knows where we could go from there. And I'm very curious to see what's going to happen from there with them. So,
and hopefully they'll be able to like stay long. Well, and it's not going to be like an elimination game, but hopefully people would be able to be able to root for them more and vote for them.
Yeah, I think they have a pretty strong fandom. Like from what I've been seeing with comments on YouTube for like, because I swear my favorite thing currently on the comments any Kingdom is like either one, don't start fan wars, which thank you, or two,
Right.
like are the fandoms like supporting their own group? And I've been seeing a lot. I've been seeing a lot of Iconic supporting Icon, but I've also been seeing a lot of Melody supporting BtoB. So their fans are pretty vocal. So
yeah,
which it's making me very, very, very proud. So it'll be really, really nice to see. So like I said, I mean, we only have the 4 oldest members currently competing in the group right now. Eunkwon, Minhook, Changsub, and Hunchik. We have we have Eunkwon, Minhook, Changsub, and Penniel. Excuse me, because Penniel doesn't have to serve. Again, he's American.
Yeah, he's American. Yeah, like non-Koreans are like so lucky to like stay put and like still do some more K-pop projects.
Yeah.
While the Korean borns are just like off to the military.
So because currently like I said, Hunchik and Sungjae are off in the military. They left on May 11th of last year. Both of them actually left the same day to do the military service. So they're going to finish around the same time, I believe. Actually, they both left with Ilhoon. So all 3 of them went off at the same time. Unfortunately, on December 31st, 2020, Ilhoon's contract got terminated by Cube after text messages were found out and revealed that Ilhoon had been buying and purchasing weed for the last 4 to 5 years. And
yeah, which again, weed is still illegal in South Korea. So it's like a very like still like a taboo kind of like item.
Yeah,
in that country.
It's not like here in America and in the Western world where like a little weed is not a big deal. But also, I think rumor had it too. Also, rumor had it too is he had a lot of weed. Too. I think he had like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of weed on him.
How many pounds of weed? Like a bag of weed is just like a backpack.
No, it was like I heard it was like $70,000 American. I think I don't know if that's what I heard rumor wise. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I heard. It was a lot of weed. So
I mean, yeah, we have like our opinions, like like what's like considered like a bad drug or not. Like with weed, if used used right, you can use for like a lot of like good medical terms, right? And I guess considered less dangerous than smoking tobacco, which is like a common thing for Koreans or a lot of Asian countries to do. So that's kind of weird. Like I don't know, like you guys are still like banning something that's the least dangerous than like tobacco.
That's not as
guys. Like a lot of artists are like struggling or getting stressed out from like doing a lot of like these. So because I know like a lot of people would fall into just like to smoke just to like get their nerves out. But
yeah, considering too, like I said, Ilhoon is like, because Zeiss being one of the main rappers, like he's a really, really great composer. He composed a lot of stuff for BtoB as well as did a lot of production, I think, for other artists and stuff too. Like, because the unfortunate thing with this whole weed charge on him is too, like he also is being investigated by the Seoul Metropolitan Police. And I'm not sure how it's all working because again, he's currently in the military, so I don't know if it goes over to the military, like for them to investigate right now since he's serving currently. Because this all came out while he's currently serving, so I'm not 100% sure what's all going on with that. All I know is, again, his contract was terminated, so BtoB will continue as a 6-member group now for the foreseeable future.
It kind of sucks though. Like, it kind of sucks that you like just heard the news that you were kicked out while you're in the military.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I was like,
But I mean,
it's a shame, but I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. I mean, but like I said, I mean, BtoB is one of the more one of the more successful groups to coming out of Q. I mean. I was just doing some research, like Eunkwon himself, the leader of the group, like it was just revealed to last year in 2020 that he sits on Cube's Entertainment's board of directors. He's the first artist in Cube's history to get to such a position. So he's reached such a leadership position in Cube's in Cube Entertainment. So that's really impressive. I think, just in terms of the hard work that he's done and he's accomplished. Leading this group to this much success. And so, and the other members have been doing, stuff too. I believe Chang Sub and Eunkwon have actually done a lot of musical theater too. I've seen idols and Sib, so a lot of idols I know have gone off to do like acting or done variety shows and stuff. Some have actually gone on to do musical theater too, and there's in their free time. And which is very cool, I think, especially as a musical theater nerd. So it's kind of cool to see like idols go off and do Korean versions of musicals. So and see them performing on stage, because I think, again, just that whole acting kind of thing. It's very, very cool. Peniel does a lot of stuff on the side too. He's a co-host on Dive Studios podcast Get Real, which is also hosted with BM of Card, and Ashley Choi, formerly of Ladies Code, is a great podcast. I highly recommend you listen to it. It's the three of them a lot of times just kind of guessing around, but they also I think have some great life advice on there too.
Right, on the show. And it's coming from more of the North American perspective on what it is joining the K-pop industry.
Yeah,
and it's so interesting, seeing their point of view and seeing difference of lifestyle, since they're more of the progressive living, and then whereas going to Korea, they're the more conservative with their with their view worldviews. So it's very interesting, very cool contrast that they have.
Yeah, especially with Ashley and BM's more LA lifestyle, and then Peniel Chicago style lifestyle. But yeah, they also have great, like I said, they have great life advice, because they kind of theme their episodes in different things about life. And so it's just really great. Just really, really great podcast. I highly recommend it. Also to note too, Peniel is also a big thing to know about Peniel is that he's usually mostly has his hair really, really short or nearly bald. It was revealed in 2016 that he opened up about suffering from alopecia. And it took him a long time to really come to terms with that. Obviously, in the idol community and just in the idols in general, beauty is really, really big thing. And so losing your hair is a really obviously big thing, not just as a man, or even as a person, just as a man, losing your hair in your 20s, but then being an idol on stage too, I think takes a whole nother step as well. And I know because he talked about it, because he actually came out with this on a variety show called Hello Counselor, in which people come out and people ask questions, and usually there's a guest panel of celebrities and stuff on the show. And yeah, he came out and he literally took his hat off and said, I have alopecia, and talked about his struggles. His the stylist knew about it, and then they went to all these doctors to see if there's anything they could do, and unfortunately there really wasn't anything that they could do. And they hid it for the longest time, with hats and with hoodies and stuff, with the styling, just to kind of hide the fact he was losing his hair. And
hats.
And so, and then it just, he came to terms with it, and honestly, he looks great. Peniel looks great. I will say that.
Yeah, that could become his signature look, and hopefully that that kind of either the bald or buzz cut would become more accepted in terms of beauty standards in Korea, as well as hopefully putting more of those kinds of styles in the K-pop industry, because I know because you don't see a lot of a lot of varieties in those kinds of different hairstyles, and then hopefully they'll add more something that's different and more unique. Because I know Key during the 2018 when they with Shiny, he did more of the bright buzz cut hair, which looks pretty cool on him. And hopefully we should also other than having either the bald or buzz cut style, we have like have other like different standards, because you know how like they always pick out like the skinnier, skinnier or more slender built to become idols. We've seen, we've been proven like it doesn't have to be just looks. It could be about like the charisma and just personality, which is why I'm so like one of the reasons why I love Super Junior is because they have a member who is not like Shindong.
Yeah.
Like he's like more of like the a bigger, bigger sized, like member, but people were still able to accept him because how good he's able to perform, and how like really welcoming his his persona is. And so yeah, bring more of like the big, like the more of like the bigger sized people in the K-pop industry, man.
I always too tend to stand like the ones who are technically quote unquote outside the Korean like standards of beauty too. I always find that like I don't know why. I always tend to like fall outside that typical window. This is that's just how I am. So I mean, it's just like I like seeing some of the shorter styles. Like I mean, I've seen a few of that on like some of there was 80s like this. Some had the shorter styles this last comeback, but I want to see. I like to see more. Like I like to see more variety. In like definitely in hairstyles and stuff too, but
even I'll also like point out Dio, because I know he wanted to get into the military, so he already like did like a buzz cut hairstyle, and he just I don't know, he looks like really fitting with that style, but also it just looks funny. It's funny because he always has like the kind of like the moody personality of him. Just him in a buzz cut, like I don't give a shit. Like I don't give a shit attitude. So it's just I don't know. That's kind of funny on his part.
That's Dio for you though. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, they've all been so really good. And like I said, like and the one member I know I've actually had my eye on too for a while before I knew BtoB was actually Sunjay, the Maknae of the group, is because I had seen him on Variety. Because I had watched and I don't know why I've fallen off watching the show, but I need to get back on watching the show called All the Butlers, or it's also known as Master in the House, depending on where you find the show, because it's either titled either way. Because he was on the inaugural cast of the show before he left the show to get ready for the military in 2020. And in which the cast, they go around to all these like different like they're these quote unquote masters of their craft, and like kind of like learn life advice, and it's a really really inspirational show, I think. And he's the youngest of the team then too, and he's kind of like this like he's like mischievous kind of precocious kind of person. He always gets in the shit. But then he's also a really really good actor because he's done a few dramas, and he's really broken through into the drama field. Is he got into really two big dramas. He got a lead role in the T drama Who Are You School 2015, as well as one of the supporting roles in one of the biggest fantasy dramas in the last like 5 years in Korea, which was Guardian, the Lonely and Great God, which he's great in. I also really highly recommend the drama, period. The drama is amazing.
Yeah, the only thing I know from like Sunjay was before getting to know BtoB was seeing him with Red Velvet's Joy in the We Got Married variety show. It's a show where a lot of idols or celebrities, they pair them up, boy and girl, and to see like how well they do as like a married couple. It's a pretty fun like experiment, and to see how like them to interact. And trying to do like those romantic couple stuff, and it's kind of like either awkward or so funny to see.
So yeah, I mean he's done some other stuff. I've seen him on some variety. Actually, he was on the Netflix variety show Busted. He was on season 2. He was a cameo in one of the episodes, in which he was literally a little shit that episode too. It was hilarious because he was hilarious that episode because he was one of the special guests on one of the episodes. Yeah, he's just fun. I kind of miss him because he's in the military right now, so I'm looking forward to when he gets discharged and post military. So again, it's kind of nice because we're seeing another group here that's going to I'm hoping we'll see success post military career, because they're just about to that point. So So we can only hope and see, but it's going to be very interesting to see, I think, where BtoB is going to stand in terms of in this competition on Kingdom. Again, being a more ballad driven group in terms of having this like very R&B, not a little bit, because I think the 90s sound has kind of gone away from them. They've definitely gone more into this R&B-esque ballad sound. Totally. There's still some 90s influence a little bit, but it's really straight, like I think just straight R&B ballad now in terms of their sound. Occasionally we get a little bit some electronic elements in there. Occasionally we get a little bit electronic dancey experimentation. I know on their last couple albums they actually did have some stuff that they've worked with Eden on. So because I was looking at liner notes. So yeah, I mean, so we've seen some stuff with that, but it's going to be very, very interesting, I think, just to see how they're going to take this ballad sound and how they're going to, I guess, elevate it, or how they're going to use this in the competition. Especially when, again, we're dealing with stuff that's very hip hop driven, very EDM driven, very performance driven. It's going to be very, very fascinating, I think.
Right.
So,
and yeah, getting to know like more of their works more, I feel more confident they'll be able to stay put and be able to have like recognition and like more love from like the audience too.
I do too.
So, yeah,
I do too. I hope they really see some success from Kingdom, or more success, and I hope more people like become fans. I hope people like you and me fall more in love with them, because I'm hoping like to see them on stage, and I hope to like get to see more of their performance, especially just with the 4 of them. I mean, obviously you won't get to see all 6, but at least with the 4 of them now.
Yeah, that's just what I think a lot of the members chosen for Kingdom, it's like a really good opportunity for them to use be in the show, so they can like get more notice from like more newer fans. And they'll be able, hopefully they'll win or lose, they'll be able to like have more successful comeback careers too.
So should we get into our playlist choices before we call it an episode?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, since it was almost a challenge for me to look at some of the songs that like stuck with me, I think I'm more of like the old school type of like sounds. With BtoB. I think I mostly got like their hits, and I also got like help from a friend of mine, Sean Aaron. Thank you so much for helping me on like finding some good songs for this. So from their first debut, or from their first debut work, from Born to Beat, I have Insane. And second, for during their press play albums, I have Wow, which is their title track for the album. It has like a really like a Michael Jackson 90s era type of thing, because they have the kind of like this really this like this dance, not dance break, but this instrumental break that you hear sometimes, like between like that comes between a verse. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about, because it has that kind of reminds me of like Michael Jackson songs from the 90s.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean exactly.
I don't want to like make that kind of sound, because it kind of like sounds awkward. But
just go listen to Wow. Go listen to Wow and go watch the music video for Wow. I highly recommend you go do that, because the music video is style. I think the music video, well, one is very third generation. Two is a really good music video, and it really encapsulates their sound very well, and you'll totally get the vibe, I think, that Jenny's trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. And Press Play, which is featured with a female artist named Gina. Like I said, it's like that sounds more of like the old school boy band vibes, which is like New Kids on the Block to me. That's how it sounds like. And going on to the third, which is Thriller. From the Thriller album. Sorry, now I'm gonna talk about Michael Jackson. Not that kind of like album we're saying here. And the Beep Beep, which with the song Beep Beep. So that's my fourth choice. And then going on to the Move album. So again, not talking about Taemin's, talking about BtoB's Move, with the song You're So Fly, which I saw like the music video. It's like I could kind of compare it to like GOT7's, like more of like the weird, funny, like quirky, like type of music video, because it's like so charming and like so comedic at the times too. So yeah. And I have for after that, with their first studio album with Complete, I have the song "It's Okay." I think some of the following songs will be recommended by my friend. With the Film album, after I have Movie as part of the song, and my final choice with their more recent ones, Brother Act, which is their second studio album. I have Missing You.
Okay.
So yeah, that's some of my choices for BtoB.
All right. And then I will kind of round it out. I kind of have some other ones as well as just kind of finishing up a little bit more of their discography. So going back to Born to Beat, I also picked Insane as well as Monday to Sunday, just kind of another dancier, kind of that 90s-esque sounding song. From Press Play, I also liked You and I and Stand Up. Those again encapsulating that 90s R&B like pop sound. From Thriller, did you put on there When I Was Your Man? Did you add that on there?
No, I don't believe so.
Because When I Was Your Man, I think is a really, really good song. That's kind of, I think, when they started getting to like that more ballady sound. So
yeah, actually, I do have it on.
I don't know if you had said it or not. So
yeah, I didn't mention that.
But yeah, I highly recommend When I Was Your Man. That's kind of when we started getting into, I think we started seeing that ballady sound, and that's like the first taste of it. So highly recommend that. From Beep Beep, I recommend Hello Mellow and Endless Melody. Endless Melody was the finale on Beep Beep, and it's really, really beautiful song. From Move, I say you listen to Happening and You're My Angel. From Complete, I'm going to also add on there My Boy's Girl, Giddy Up and Shake It. We kind of feel like these are some of the more like their dancier songs. I'm kind of throw on there too because they also, like I said, had some more dancier songs. So it'd be kind of fun if, like I said, they go back to experimenting with some of these dancier songs on Kingdom.
Yeah, hopefully in their future comeback they go back into like their roots and more of like the dancer pop side.
Yeah. From their album I Mean, I picked Last Day, Heart Attack, and Will Be Here. From their album Remember That, I picked Killing Me, Color Your Days, and Remember That, which Remember That is the title track from that album. From New Men, I picked Pray, I'll Be Your Man. From the Film album, I also picked, as well as Movie, I also picked Someday. From Brother Act, the second full album, I also added, besides Missing You, I also added My Lady, Blowin' Up, and Na Na Na. From This Is Us, Only One For Me, Blue Moon, and The Feeling. And then finishing up with their last album that they completed back in 2018, which was Our Moment, Climax, and Beautiful Pain. And those are my picks. Like I said, it's a little bit of everything with them. Like I said, we have a little bit of their 90s R&B, new Kids on the Block inspired stuff, a little bit of their ballad, a little bit of their dancier stuff. So it's kind of going to be it's going to be a fun playlist, I think, for you to kind of dig in and listen to when we put it up on Spotify.
Really good choices there. Yeah, you research more than me. Really good job. Like at least it gives more, more chance for people to listen to some of the stuff that they would like.
Yeah, I wanted to give a really good variety of everything that I think they have and they offer, because I think like I said, they have a really interesting range of stuff that I think is just going to be fun for people to dig into, because they just have a great, a great thing. So right. Also, yes, I highly recommend, please go watch the music video for I'll Be Your Man, because just go watch it, because there's rumors that might be a crossover song on Kingdom, and if the rumor proves out right, and the group that's going to perform that song is going to be the group that performs that song, I might die. Yeah. Also, because just go watch that video, because Minhook did not just hang upside down with his hands tied behind his back, half naked, just for you to not watch that music video. So yes.
Okay, I watch the video.
Go watch the music video. It's seriously like that music video is a whole story in itself. Like, holy cow! Go watch that music video for "Pray I'll Be Your Man." It's something else. My God. But yeah, that's BtoB in a nutshell. I hope we did him justice. I hope we did. Like I said, I'm looking forward to.
I'm sure we did.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they are going to bring to the table in Kingdom. I'm looking forward to actually maybe going into looking into some of their solo stuff. Especially with like, I know Penny's done a lot of solos, like hip hop stuff, as well as I know Minhook's done a lot of solo stuff too. He does he's released mixtapes under the pseudonym Huta for his rap stuff. So if you're looking for any Minhook solo stuff, it's under Huta. So for his rap mixtapes. So I'm looking forward to checking some of that stuff out too. So yeah, it might be some fun digging, but I know we have to start prepping for some of these other Wikipedia sessions as we get ready into Kingdom here.
Yeah.
So kind
of like cram into like other like album reviews too along the way.
Yep, more album reviews as well as just getting ready. But I think I'm going to appreciate doing these Kingdom reviews, these Kingdom sessions, because I think it's going to just give me appreciation for all these groups as they perform on stage for Kingdom. So I think this is really beneficial for the two of us, I think. So,
but hopefully we'll find a way to like catch like the live shows and give like an honest review on like about like each performances. So we'll see if we because Mnet can be like so limiting with like showing the videos too, and just like having like the bridge highlights.
Yeah, we're gonna see what we can do for Kingdom stuff on terms of the podcast and stuff, because I think it's gonna be interesting, like I said, because it's gonna be airing. I don't know if it's going to be able to be streamed live over YouTube, or like what they're gonna do in terms of what Mnet's planning, because they've done it before where they've actually streamed shows over Mnet's YouTube with quote unquote live subs, which have been iffy. But we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, they did it for Island, which was the survival show that we got in Hyphen from. So something tells me they might do it for Kingdom, but we'll see what happens. But we can only wait and see. But otherwise, like I said, the performances will probably be up on their YouTube pretty quickly, and I think we'll be pretty quick to get them out and see if anyone's interested to watch them and vote on what your favorite performances are week to week. So, but I think we could, I think we should wrap it up this week. Like I said, next week, we have a couple reviews, and we're going to have our Wikipedia on Icon, which we're going to go, again, we're going to go right from ballads to like straight hip hop next week.
Yeah, heavy hip hop.
Very heavy hip hop. It's going to be very interesting too, considering the history of Icon and kind of what happened with Icon too. So it'll be very interesting to talk about that next week. But should we plug our stuff and go?
Yeah, for sure. So you can find me at Ginny Liano on Facebook. That's GINNY and last name LEANO. Or you can look at my Facebook design page at Ginny Liano Designs. That's all in small caps. Or on Instagram, design page at Ginny Designs. Hopefully you'll be able to find my other personal links and pages down at my design pages. And back to you, Jenny.
And you can find me, Jenny. You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/Jenny Matasek, JenniMatasek. You can always find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Chaos Bulldog. You can also find the Noonas podcast show pages on Twitter and Instagram at Noonas_podcast. Don't forget the underscore. The links to all of our Spotify playlists, including this week's Spotify playlist for our BtoB Rookiepedia playlist, will be in the links in the bios of those pages. Make sure to check them out. I will make sure we link the BtoB playlist to this episode as well. Make sure to check out the playlist. You always can email us too here on the podcast, noonaspodcast@gmail.com. Any questions, comments, concerns, any kind of K-pop questions you got for us. Hopefully we can answer them for you. You can always also check out the video form of our show on the Metropolis Collective on Facebook. Just search for the Metropolis Collective there. Thanks again, once again, for you guys for hosting our show on your page. Yeah, this has been the Noonas podcast for another week. Again, we have IU to review next week. Baekhyun's coming back next week. Jackson Wayne drops music tomorrow. So we got some good stuff coming next week. And then we're gonna talk Icon next week. So that's gonna be fun. Just talking some good fashion hip hop next week. And get some straight and get hopefully. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't make a fool of myself talking about hip hop. Maybe my whiteness is showing.
I think hip hop is one of your fortes, though, aren't you? Because you used to have a lot of like rappers and a lot of K-pop groups.
Yeah, true. I do stand a lot of rappers. It's very true. Do I have a type in K-pop stands? Maybe I do. I've realized I have.
I'm quite the opposite. I'm more of like the vocal kinks in K-pop.
I've also realized I'm like more of like a hung line stan too. Like I'm always like the older members or the rappers. That's kind of my thing.
I'm an all-rounder.
So, I don't know. I'm weird. So, but until next week, you guys. Fighting.